Alright, so we're going to proceed back here, and then we're going to go into the maintenance barn, where the trains are stored each night, inspected every morning, and completely disassembled after so many hours of operation safety-wise. So we'll proceed into the good. Honestly good. Honestly good.
There you go.
Dispatching, they launch them every 2 minutes. It's going to come by here about 60 miles an hour plus. So if you have video, you should be somewhat fine. Still pictures, just turn out to be a little. But it comes by here really fast. If you would actually look down on the track, you'll see the white rectangles in the middle. Those are called stators. They react with the magnets on the coasters, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. And that which makes us a launch coaster compared to the other coasters that bring you up by a belt, a chain, a cable, and then gravity fed all the way back down. With similar process, if you take a magnet, it goes together. Turn it the other way, it repels. That's the principle behind stators and the magnets on the coasters. It's about to come around. This is one of our coasters that we just assembled a few months ago. We still have some parts left. But we came completely down. It's in the process of coming back up together. Hopefully within another couple of weeks or so, we'll be ready for the testing. Once they have it completely assembled, they will run for 6 hours. Monitoring them. Once they're done, we as passengers, we will run it for 6 hours. Every 5-minute dispatches. Ready for everything is working properly on. One main safety guidelines for our coasters have 60 wheels. These are called road wheels that let on dock. These are called guide wheels that guide you along the track. So we have our uplift here, or onto here is what the figure 8 keeps it secured to the track at all times. And the safest design coasters I've ever been on. I could write it coasters my whole life. The first wooden coasters I'm from Michigan originally, and I see the point. So every kind of wooden coaster you could ride. Everything here, show the heck out of it. And today we have the planning process. Wood in Florida, they only last so long with heat, with the weather. So now we've got this and the wooden coaster. Any questions?
How many trains do they have here?
Right now we have the capabilities of assembling and completing 5 frames. When we were operating the ride, and today, because of the lower budget, yes, we're running single station 2 frames. It's real busy, obviously on weekends, holidays, and whatnot, we're doing the 4th frame. Okay, pretty much now, maximum that will be running is about 4, because the 5th one that's going to be the process of disassembly and reassembly. Once that is completed, the next training line will be pulled off, brought in here, and the same thing is done. For now, why don't you come around this way and you can see a fully assembled one, okay? And then Mike will come around and explain some more details about safety on the poster, okay? And like I was saying, so as you come by, the magnets all the way along, they have the gap in the middle. That's where the stators pass through. They react with the magnets, making this a launch poster. Now each of the posters have 60 wheels on them. The road on top, the guide, and the uplift. This makes it very safe. Half the wheels could fall off the poster and still never go off the track. Very, very safe. Electronically, once the harness comes down, we have you in there to lock after 20 seconds. We have a harness release on the exit side in case the concerned mom or dad squishes their young kid into the seat too tight. We can release it. Or if you sit down, you panic and change your mind, we can manually let you out. Once you're in secured with dispatch, we'll go the complete track all the way back around, and there's plates in the 2 stations that will interact with the harnesses, allowing them, once the train's parked, the gate's closed, it allows the harnesses to come off.
It's interesting to see a train sitting here like this, right, in a maintenance track, right? You get on it, you can see most of this stuff, the mechanics of it from the bottom. It's interesting, right? You guys obviously know the biggest difference between Cheetah Hunt and a conventional roller coaster. Biggest difference? The launch system, yeah. So the way the launch system works is that it's a 16-passenger train, it's 4 coaches. Each one of the coaches has 8 huge magnets that sit underneath it. This is our annual train. Every train, per the ride manufacturer, at a certain point, gets a complete teardown, right? Right to the last nut, bolt, inspected, parts that are immediately get replaced, and then reassembled after paint and everything else. One of the things we do is actually physically remove these magnets. There's over 600 of them, holding the magnets in place. They're very powerful. It's a fun thing to do if we still have a train apart, to let you guys play with one carefully. But as of right now, this train is 90% completed, going back reassembled. So all the magnets are already in. But just take my word for it that the magnets are extremely powerful, 32 of them. Will it mess up your phone if you get it too close? So it will mess up your phone, it will wipe out credit cards, it'll do all types of stuff. Yeah. And when you're working in and around it, like I said, it's something that you gotta really be careful and keep in the back of your head, because you can get hurt. It's pretty powerful stuff, you know.
When we had our tours with the little camper kids, we had the magnet there. We take a wrench, put it on the side. Half of them couldn't pull the wrench off.
And speaking of cell phones, just as this really has a little less to do with coasters and more kind of like a PSA. If we go on to the other side, I want to show you guys something I've been having fun showing on tours. So this is a brand new gun. Okay, the way roller coaster wheels, most to that mark is struggling, that's an aluminum hub. When this wheel wears out, or we want it to have a defect of some kind, we know what to inspect and look for every day. Every inch of the train and the tracks, every day gets inspected through operation. Okay? So, steel bearing on the inside, aluminum hub. The hub gets reused. These get actually sent out, and the lining gets replaced, and then sent back to us. Anyway, the reason I want to show you this is what a new wheel looks like. I want to show you what a not so new wheel looks like. You guys are fans of coasters. You understand what it's like to get on a ride, right? And wait an hour for it, and then the ride go down. It's terrible, right? I hate that for you guys too, honestly. It's my job to get the ride back up. You guys can enjoy it. It really stinks when a cell phone gets smashed in between a wheel and a track. That's what happened right there. Ride was called down. Our ride operators are astute to the ride, They hear a noise, they call it down, we have to inspect it. I ain't been waiting in the queue for an hour for something silly like this. And if this is the worst thing that happens, who cares? Like the loose article thing, the rule that we have in the park, is for your safety. So I like to hold on to this wheel to show you guys. And, it's a pretty fast ride. The cell phone is not going to stop the wheel. It's just going to blow right through it. So it's just something I like to show you guys. I mean, if you guys like coasters and you guys like being safe, we're going to like to keep you safe. See someone take your cell phone out or something not supposed to. Anyway, that's what a worn wheel will look like. Obviously, it's got a groove that it's formed into the track, while it's been running.
How long does it take her to get that mark?
Well, weekly, okay, the upstops and the side guides on this particular train are, they're adjustable. It's not the only ride that has adjustable upstops and side guides. Most B&M rides, so this is an Intamin ride, okay, and our adjustments are more fun. They're more crucial because we're a launch coaster. So those magnets, those fins, or those stators as we call them around the ride, clearance, the tolerance between the stators and those magnets, I mean we're talking 2.5 millimeters on each side of clearance is nothing. So the adjustment laterally that the train needs to be, how centered it needs to be, is very crucial. So we have a lot of adjustment in them. And actually the lateral adjustment is something we check weekly. Because the last thing we want to do is have the mag beam come in contact with the stators. Not a good day.
How fast does it accelerate?
I don't know. I do know that there are some points in a ride where your body is going to experience about 4 Gs on this ride. How fast it accelerates, I'm really not sure. I do know that that's one thing that makes launch coasters really popular, like this one. It's that sudden burst of acceleration, It's cool. I mean, nothing against that quality. I commissioned them. Those stators that are out there, LSMs. LSM's an acronym for linear synchronous motor. I'm going to bore you with some techie stuff. So linear synchronous motor, any electric component that performs work, we call a motor. They get pumped with 480 volts. Consider the weight of the train, the weight of the occupants, and the fact that we're trying to shoot you through the launch 105 feet to the tallest point of the ride. The forces are immense, the power. The voltage isn't always fed out to those stators, it's only when the train's passing through them. A cool fact about Cheetah Hunt is that at Tigers, if you go over there, there's blowers on the stators to cool them. They require cooling. So you can imagine how hot these things get with the amount of voltage that goes through them all day, every day, 10 hours a day, 4 trains around the track constantly. Have you guys ever wondered, you've driven a lot of coasters, right? You guys ever, in the back of your head, thought, man, I went a little faster today than maybe I rode last time. There's no wrong with that. You think that's true, or do you think it's in your head? It's true, right? What do you think would be like a factor in that? Any guesses? Right. Key to the track, key to the wheels, and actually key to the bearings. So the hotter it is, the looser everything is, the faster the train will travel. Cheetah Hunt has 2 limitations. One is wind speed, and the other one is temperature. Correct me if I'm wrong, under 40 degrees Fahrenheit, this ride should not run per manufacturer. It could cause a train to failure, it might not operate correctly. The track, the wheels, all that stuff needs to be a certain temperature to operate correctly. Now, all rides are like that. They all have a certain wind speed and a certain temperature above and below that they should and should not operate. I know you guys have probably ridden in Sunday coasters too. You've never been frustrated by weather code. It's important. I hope I don't have to explain that too much. A roller coaster is a giant black and white. I know it's frustrating, but like when we do it, it's for your safety. So please be kind to our operator. Do you guys have any other questions about the ride, how it operates, the trains, any curiosities?
I'm curious that there's only rear wheels on most of those.
Yeah. So the way these trains are put together, and they're hitched. Okay. Basically, it's this bogey, this axle here that obviously you see is suspending the front half of this coach. Now, if you want to, we can go that way very carefully, and I'll show you how the very front coach differentiates from the rest of them. So, the front coach doesn't have an axle to suspend itself on. What it actually has is a separate pilot car. That's kind of how this ride operates. It's cool, right? When we take these trains down for annual, that's that hoister. We actually take those big pins out, which are under tremendous force and pressure of those pins. I mean, to give you an idea, the road wheels get torqued to 412 millimeters. You can imagine what those big pins that actually hitch the cars together gets torqued to. It's all real serious stuff. Yeah. This train will be ready in a couple weeks. Fiberglass bodies and we get to go. And then the next train will come down, we'll do the same exact thing. We'll tear it down to the last nut and bolt, inspect it, replace the common parts we do, and then put it back together. And if it's delayed, they'll come at me and say, when's my train ready? I'll say, please buy me some more gift certificates and Dunkin' Donuts. More coffee the faster you get your train.
So is it out getting repainted and everything?
Yeah, we do it in the shop here. It's a little messy, but it's doable. We have painters here in the park, and they do a pretty good job remediating any of the rust, if there is any. Cheetah Hunt right now, it's frustrating, it has a water feature, which is unique to coasters. It's the coolest thing ever. It upsets me when it's not working. Yeah, it's down in the canyon. It's the part of the ride where you're doing that left to right, you know? We're working on it.
Can anybody tell me why you think we do all our painting colors in the trade?
Oh, why you
They're too big to get out of their doors.
Yeah. Anywhere you see on the train, especially like underneath the magnets, the 600 volts, which I enjoy so much. I just love taking out, putting back in, right? So every ball that's torqued that has a final torque put on it gets either a paint mark or this paste, it's torch stripe. Why? Because every day we come in and like I told you, we inspect every inch of the trains, every inch of the track. I mean, if a ball was to back off or loosen, right? Sometimes, how would you know? So a lot of stuff is we use a paint marker or we use the paste, and that's the easiest, best way to tell. Everything on an annual train gets brand new torque stripe, and we clean it up nice for a good reason. You know? We want to be able to visually see every day as much as we can on the train. You know, part of the reason for an annual is because there are some things that visually are difficult to see when the train is fully assembled. But that's the point of an annual. Take apart the train so that you can inspect, replace, or repair any of that stuff that, again, on a daily inspection, you know, may not be as visible. So that's the whole idea. So if parts are readily available, obviously COVID's thrown a wrench into that. Parts supply. It is a German ride. Sometimes we try to keep stock of the most common stuff, but sometimes like a specialty part or component, you never know. But an annual train with a full group and all parts ready to go, 3 months, 4 months tops, depending on what we see, what we find. And usually we have that time because Cheetah Hunt has 5 trains. The ride can run with 5 trains online. It's it's okay. I think it runs better. Cool station. That's the cool, unique thing about this ride is the station and the way it works. The way that you can load 2 trains at once. One leaves the front dispatch, and then the other one just parks and launch one, which is cool because you don't know when you're getting shot out of there. The anticipation, right? Exactly. It's just like anything else. Your car, right? Your house. The older it gets, the more it requires more maintenance. The more it requires more from you, right? And it's no different. It's no different than anything else. There's a lot that but it's a cool gig. It's cool work.
Do you back them all down in here at night?
Yeah, so up at the front of the ride, okay, there's a transfer track that once the day is over, our night crew will basically slide that track over and it goes into a maintenance position and it all comes down into the bay back this way. So that when we come in the morning at 4 a.m., first thing I do when I come through the door is see 4 trains. Then I focus my attention on the coffee machine. And then
donuts?
No. We gotta stay in shape for this thing. Climbing roller coasters is physical, but once in a while. But yeah, so that's what'll happen. They all get back in this way. So that first thing in the morning, they're in here and we're ready to inspect them. We're spoiled. We have a nice, beautiful shop in here. Well lit, so we can do our inspections, in a precise way,
Yeah.
Any other questions, curiosities? Too bad I don't have a magnet out and let you play with it. I will give you one fun little fact. The center of the magnets have a bunch of hardware in the center of them, and we inspect them and we try to make sure they're not backed out every angle. We actually made that. So we stick the magnets in here, and you see the bolts from the side. The magnets, obviously, you see the bolts that are actually holding it to the coach. And then we put it in here, and we actually use this to separate the 2 sides. You need this because, like I said, the force of those two magnets, they want to come together. So, we're usually sitting in a block room like this, separating them. And then we use these special set of Allen keys to check that hardware. Dumb question, anybody know why these would be special? Why would we leave these here just for this purpose? They don't stick to the magnet, right?
Well, this is where we put the gas leak that goes to the job.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, before Cheetah Hunt or Skyride was even thought of, when they had the monorail system, they had Cougars and Jaguars running wild like our Cheetahs. All of this was built down into the ground. Okay, going that way through that little door, that's Cheetah Rock, where it's the big rock of Cheetah.
Oh, yeah.
This,
The line.
this way here, it's called Cheetah Garden now.
Absorbed and everything.
But it used to go down where the animals, they would be fed up out here, do whatever, clean up, and then brought in from there and sent out either direction. And then at night or during bad weather or feeding time, they're brought over to here. But unlike the cheetahs that are hand-fed, you listen to them purr and meow, you can pet them. These guys are not like that. All movements of the doors are done from here. So there's no way you get your hands by them because they will bite it. And that's where they used to stay. And then they can go from that end to that end. But it was, picture in your mind, everything was wide open like you have and very deep because they're climbers, jumpers, just like our cheetahs. And they're for enjoyment, not for chasing guests around the park.
Well, this is really.
All right, I'm going to show you one more thing over here. Try to keep you in the shade, and then we'll go to the gift shop, and then we'll go take a ride on Cheetah. notice the brake pins, those are the ones that slow it down. And then the kicker tires are signaled electronically, move the train safely into their positions. You'll get into the station, and then you can exit the ride. Pretty much the same fueling, stations, everything. We have glycol running through everything. It's always coolant monitored to a certain temperature. Once the temperature goes below around 69, 70 degrees, it's good. Once it hits that, goes above, the ride is shut down. Like he was saying, how much current and electricity it takes for the skaters to operate the ride. The amount of electricity that comes from Cheetah Hunt in about a day or so is the equivalent of our house for a year. All right, let's go head back up and we'll go for the ride.
Come on, anytime now, right?
Yeah.